A couple of years ago, I challenged myself to try 5 different side hustles that I could do entirely from my phone. The goal was to see how much I could realistically make within 30 days, and today I'm sharing the results. Hi, I'm Kelsey, and I share all about my journey to monetizing online. So if that's something you're interested, make sure you hit that subscribe button so I can keep making more videos like this. Fast forward to today, I am a full-time content creator, and my main income stream actually comes from selling digital products. But before I reached this point, I tried out a variety of different online side hustles to figure out what would work. In this 30-day challenge, I tried 5 different online side hustles, and at the end of this video, I'll share exactly how much money I made at the end of that 30-day period from these side hustles. I'll also share how this journey actually led me to where I am today. So if you want to try any of these side hustles out for yourself, I'll link them all in the description below. But a quick disclaimer, just because these side hustles worked for me doesn't mean they'll work exactly the same for you. I've tried what feels like hundreds of side hustles over the years, and some of them worked really well for other people, but they didn't work at all for me. So this video is just me sharing my personal experience to give you some ideas of things you could try as well. But remember, results will vary from individual to individual. There's so many factors that come into play that I just can't tell you whether these things will work for you. Something I've learned along this journey is sometimes you just have to try things to see if they'll work. With that out the way, let's talk about the first side hustle. And the first one is a survey site called Attapoll. This is an app that pays you for answering surveys. I tried this because it seemed like a great way to earn a little bit of extra cash in my spare time. Plus, I saw a lot of other people talking about it online. Attapoll sends surveys directly to your phone. So I used to like sitting there and doing surveys while I was doing other things like watching TV. The surveys range in length and payout, and you do sometimes get disqualified from the surveys. Actually, I've been disqualified a lot from the surveys. But basically, that just means you're not the person they're looking for that particular survey. Or sometimes they think they disqualify you if they think you're not answering the survey properly, like you're rushing through it or you're just ticking random boxes and giving random responses. They actually want you to answer these surveys genuinely because it's for market research for companies. While the pay for the surveys was not huge, I did find that if I consistently did them, it did add up to a nice little bit of extra income. I also really like that I could literally do this anywhere, whenever I wanted. There's no pressure to complete the surveys. So if I was bored or I had a little bit of free time, I would just jump on and do a few surveys. Plus, they also have a referral program, so you can potentially earn money by referring other people to the app. Attapoll is a good way to make a little bit of extra money in your downtime, but I will say that it is time consuming. This is one of the apps that I actually still use to this very day. Every now and then I'll jump on the app and do a couple of surveys and just make a couple of extra dollars. I definitely don't take it as seriously as I did during this 30-day challenge, because during the 30-day challenge, I definitely made a lot more money with Attapoll. Number 2 is another survey site called Octopus Group. This site, I believe, is only available for people in Australia and New Zealand, and it tends to have a lot less surveys available, but the surveys that they do have are often paying a higher amount. I actually haven't used this particular app in a while, but as I was making this video, I decided to jump on the app and just see if there was any surveys available for me. And there actually was a $3 survey there for me, so I jumped on that one, I did it, and it took about 12 minutes. But then after that, there were no surveys available for me. So even though the surveys aren't as frequent, it's still one that's definitely worth checking out if you want to try online surveys. And they also have a referral program as well. So that's one of the things I do like about these survey sites is they kind of offer 2 ways to earn. One way is by completing the surveys, and then another way is by referring other people to the apps as well. And the third side hustle app I was trying was one called Pure Profile, which is another survey platform. This is the last survey platform. The other 2 are different things. This is probably the survey app I use the least. But it is still a good option if you're looking for surveys or side hustles to do just from your phone. The reason I use this one less often was just because I was so busy mostly using Attapoll, because Attapoll always seemed to have so many surveys available for me. The next side hustle I was doing from my phone is actually selling my pre-loved clothing. And I was selling my clothes on a website called Depop. I had actually already been doing this side hustle for a while and it was doing pretty well. I had clothes I didn't really wear anymore, so I figured this could be a great way to declutter and potentially make some extra money. Selling on Depop did take more effort than the survey apps. I had to spend time taking clear photos of the clothes, writing good descriptions, and offering deals to try attract more buyers. And once the listings were live, I was following tips and tricks I was learning about Depop, like consistently refreshing the listings, and slowly, to my surprise, sales actually started to roll in. I didn't actually focus much on this side hustle during the 30 days, but I wanted to mention it because it was a way that I found to make money online from my phone. And it could be something you might be interested in exploring. There's also another site similar to Depop, which is called Poshmark, and I also use that a couple of times too. So Depop is definitely an option to consider if you have old clothes you'd like to sell that are still in relatively good condition, or if you like thrifting. Okay, and the last side hustle I want to talk about before I do the grand reveal of how much I actually made in the 30 days is a site called user testing. It's a platform that pays you to test apps and websites and give your feedback. User testing was probably one of the most interesting side hustles I did during this challenge. I actually really enjoyed it. Essentially, you do need to sign up and then go through pre-screening tests to see if you actually qualify for the user tests. And then once you get through, you can get paid to review that app or website. Most of the tests that I did paid around $10 and they took about 10 to 20 minutes of my time. I really enjoyed this one because it was interactive and I felt like my feedback was really helping the companies. If I actually had tests I could qualify for all day, I would probably just keep doing user tests all day. But unfortunately, you do have to go through pre-screening and a lot of the ones would screen you out because you're just not the person that they're looking for a particular test. But when you do get a user test, it is pretty well paid for the amount of time you spend on it. I have heard mixed reviews about user testing. I do sometimes hear people haven't got any tests or they keep getting screened out. At the time of this 30-day challenge, I ended up getting a lot of user tests to do, but I now just jumped on and I don't have any user tests. So I think it can go through ebbs and flows. I think it's best if you're interested in learning about that one, just jump on and see if you get some tests. Because if you do get the user tests, they can be pretty fun and also you get paid. So what you've been waiting for, after 30 days of trying these side hustles, how much did I make? In total, over the 30-day period, I made just over 300 Australian dollars. It was a fun experiment. And each side hustle definitely had its pros and cons, but overall I found ways to fit them into my life even while I was working and make some extra income from my phone. And during that time, the one I made the most money from was Attapoll surveys, but I spent a lot of time on that app taking surveys. That was a couple of years ago, and since then things have changed for me quite a lot. I'm now a full-time content creator and my main income stream is actually selling digital products. I also do some UGC for brands, which is user-generated content. And I also earn by being an affiliate for products I love, like software and education. While I do still use some of the side hustle apps that I talked about today, my main focus is selling digital products and doing affiliate marketing. But ultimately, the biggest thing that has allowed me to start working full-time for myself is by being a content creator and learning about marketing, as that really is what has opened up so many different potential income streams for me. So if you're interested in trying any of the side hustles that I've talked about, I'll link them below. And if you want to learn more about making money as a content creator or running an online business, make sure you follow along as I will be sharing loads of tips. And here's another video I made that you might be interested in.